So this is Joshua Hart from JTH Boxing. Today I'm here in Manchester. I'm here with Jamie Moore. Jamie, first of all, how are we doing, mate?
All good, thank you, mate. Yeah, you?
I'm not doing too bad. Obviously, been up since about 5:30 this morning to get ready to get here. Obviously, I know we were in a bit of a tight squeeze of time, so I want to get straight into things. The first thing I want to talk about is November 25th. Obviously, we've kind of already touched on this in a previous interview, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But obviously, it's official now. Chantel Cameron will be rematching Katie Taylor in Dublin. How excited are you to be going back over there?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, it was a great experience last time. Great performance from Chantel. The atmosphere was unbelievable, and yeah, I mean, obviously everyone was supporting Katie, but in terms of like the respect what they showed towards Chantel and things like that, it was all really good. So ideally we didn't want to go back to Dublin because we wanted it more on our terms for Chantel, but Matchroom have decided to go back to Dublin, so it's not like she can't do it. She's been there and done it already, and actually looking back at the fight, I think she can perform better than she did last time. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Do you feel like she knows what to expect this time? So going into it the first time, you never know what's going to happen. Obviously you can picture the crowd, but it's never going to be what you picture come fight night, whereas now she knows what it's going to be like. If anything, the crowd could be a little bit different due to the way the first fight went. But do you feel like now that she's had that first experience, it'll put her in only a better place going into this rematch?
Yeah, it can only help, without a doubt. You know, she's experienced that sort of hostile atmosphere now and knows that she can deal with it, even though she was probably questioning herself the first time. This time she knows she can beat her. And like I say, analysing it and going back and watching with Chantel, we both agree that she can perform way better than she did on the night as well. So I think they're thinking going back to Dublin will be an advantage for Katie, but I disagree. I think there's way more pressure on her shoulders now, and there's even less on Chantel because it's not like a homecoming or anything like that. So yeah, she can just do really what she did last time, go over there with no expectations and go and enjoy herself and perform.
Obviously, I want to talk about Dave Allen this weekend. Sky Sports box office, Eubank Smith on the card in Manchester, obviously very close to home for you. How excited are we to see Dave back in big fights? Obviously he's under your wing, you've been training him. How excited are we for Saturday night?
Yeah, of course I'm excited for Dave. He's looking forward to getting back in there. He knows this is a fight he can win, and he's really sort of knuckled down and trained his knackers off. Like, he's got that extra incentive now, what he didn't have before, which is when you have kids, your mindset changes and your focus is not necessarily on doing it for you, it's doing it for a greater purpose. So he's got a lot of ambition now, which maybe he didn't have before, a lot of incentive, and he's in good shape, which is a big plus for him, because in the past, notoriously he's been known for not training, and he's really put a good shift in, and he's in good form. So looking forward to it.
Well, you kind of answered the next one. I was going to ask, how's the training gone for him? Obviously, you said he's in shape, he's been training. It's clear to see he's been training. Just watching him on the pads there, I'm not going to give away the game plan and what's been done there, but I'm just going to say he looks very good. He looks like there's a lot of power, which we already knew, but it looks like there's a bit of a good game plan going into this. Obviously, I don't want you to give away anything, but in terms of looking at a game plan, how are we going to have to approach Fraser Clark?
Well, Fraser's been around for a long time, and obviously in the amateurs, but I've seen him around. He was one of the security on the Matchroom shows for years. So I've known Fraser for a long time, and there's no doubt he's a formidable fighter. He's very good. He was bronze medal in the Olympics, so he's got pedigree. But there's a big difference between being able to do it in the amateurs and being able to do it in the pros. Dave's got a lot of experience in the pros. He's been in there with some very, very good fighters, and for the performances he's put in, knowing historically how he's not been in the best of shape going into those, then I'm excited to see what he can do on the night when he's put the graft in like he has done. And if his form's anything to go by in sparring, then it's going to be an unbelievable fight.
Obviously, like I said, we're pushed for time, so I want to switch to October 7th very briefly. You've just got Cameron Vong under your wing now. what a fighter you've got there.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. He's a lovely kid. He asked about coming down training, and I spoke to his manager Sam Jones. I agreed to have him down here and do a trial, and I was well impressed with him. He's been down, he's been sparring with Jack and Akib, and so far so good. So I think he's a great prospect. I think I'm expecting real big things of him. I think everyone's going to be excited when they see him because he's got a great style.
And you kind of just ticked off every single thing I was going to ask there. The thing that was really impressive for me is the style. Watching him spar this morning, he's some fighter. He's got a very eye-catching style, a very fan-friendly style. And I feel like that's something that's very important. Obviously, Matchroom have picked him up for a reason. They're not just going to go pick up any old person turning over. They've picked him up for a reason. I think that's the reason why that style there is just so good to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's got a lot of attributes. I think as he sort of develops and matures, he'll become more of a puncher. He can certainly hit stiffly at the moment, but there's a few things that we can work on which can improve him and make him better. I think being around the other lads in the gym, he'll be able to learn off them as well. But yeah, his judgment, his timing and stuff like that is spot on. So I'm looking forward to it.
Obviously, the last thing I will talk about is October 21st. You've got two fighters in action. Akib Fiaz in his first title fight, and Jack Catterall headline in Liverpool. First of all, how good is it to have two fighters on the same card?
Yeah, it's good. They can both train alongside each other. It's always easy when you've got a gym mate who's sort of got a fight date on the same time, so you can train alongside each other. So Jack and Akib, it's happened a couple of times recently where they've been on the same bill. So Akib's, it's not an easy fight for him, but I don't really think he's had the easiest of apprenticeships. He's had the odd journeyman here and there, but generally he's been matched against half decent fighters all the time, which was the reason why we did it, to make sure that when he did step up, he was in a better position to be able to win those fights. So he's had plenty of good experience in his apprenticeship now, and it's time to show what it's all about. Yeah, and obviously we've got Jack Catterall top of the bill against Linares. And Linares, we know, obviously, historically, is a phenomenal fighter. I used to love watching him fight, to be honest. I was a fan of his. So, but we know he's past his best, but he's still dangerous. He can still punch, and Jack really has to make sure that he doesn't overlook him. There's potentially some big fights there in the future for him. So he can't afford to slip up by any stretch of the imagination. But he's not that type of fighter, Jack. I don't think he'll do that. He's very focused all the time, and he's really coming into his prime. I think over the next 2 years now, we're going to see the best, especially with his sort of signing with Matchroom now and them, getting him sort of keeping him busy, getting him regular fights. So I think we're going to see the best of him. So I expect a big performance against Linares. So I'm glad they're both on the bill together to keep each other company and train through it. And then that'll lead us straight into the camp on the back of that for Chantel with Katie Taylor as well. So it's going to be busy.
Obviously, do you think we're almost entering the second stage of Jack's career now? Obviously, I'd say the first chapter was leading up to that Josh Taylor fight. Would you say now that that's all past, it's all in the past, like we're not going to talk about it anymore? Would you say this is almost a second part of his career now, second chapter almost? Yeah,
I mean, I don't think you can say that chapter's over. I think Jack should focus on winning a world title. That's the main priority. And the Taylor fight will always be there because people are intrigued by it because of what happened in the first fight and stuff like that. So I think it'll always be there. Josh is coming off that loss to Teofimo Lopez, so Jack is focusing on looking at someone like, obviously Progray's looking at trying to fight Haney, but if Jack can't get the Progray fight, then he'd look to try and get the winner. But the Josh Taylor fight's always going to be there because people want to see it.
And finally, I just want to ask you, how good is it to have a busy stable? Obviously, another fight I've not talked about is Marc Leach. Obviously, he's the first of the bunch, I'd say, September 15th at York Hall. How good is it just to have every fighter in your gym preparing for a fight date? And surely it's a lot easier to train with them and prepare them when you know there's a fight coming up instead of just training them because they just need to keep taking over.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's positives and negatives to everything. It's not good when you're training in the gym and you haven't got a fight date, but it gives us the opportunity to work on the stuff what the fighter needs to work on when he's not actually training for a fight, so they can improve themselves. So there is positives and negatives to it, but it's great at the moment that everyone seems to have a date and they're all training alongside each other and the gym's buzzing, the atmosphere is great. So it definitely helps. You can get monotonous training, but it's really helping at the minute that all the fighters are in sort of the gym together and they're all building momentum together.
Well, Jamie, like I said, I know I pushed time, so I'm going to let you go now. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me come down to the gym again today. I've had a great time, and I'll see you at York Hall in just 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks. So we're actually, a few of us are away training in between that time, and Nigel's here with Marc finishing off the last few weeks with him. But Marc's, you could see him today. He's near enough ready to go. So we're away in between, and then I get back a couple of days before the fight, and then we'll be down York Hall. So
sounds good, Jamie. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Cheers, mate.